And I'm telling you, just by trading with the market and not against it, that's already going to put you guys in the top 5%. Into this session, I'm going to go over the strategy that I've been using for the past 6 years, and that actually helped me manage to quit my 9 to 5, able to trade full-time and also open a trading corporation as well. Please pay attention to this entire video, and I can guarantee you guys, if you take your time to practice the strategy as well, you're going to realize that the strategy does work. But yet again, I do not trade like the average retail trader, right? The way I trade is like an investor, which means I trade with the trend at all times, right? I don't counter trade, I don't buy to sell, I don't sell to buy. Take my time to actually trade with the market and not against it. The thing is, I only trade 3 to 4 times per week max, and I have a very strict risk management plan that I follow to the core for me to be able to stay consistent. So before I show you guys the strategy that I've been using for the past 6 years, I'm going to show you guys the back office. Other trades that I've placed for the last few months, you guys can actually see that the strategy does work. I just want to let you guys know as well that I rarely day trade, I mainly swing trade. I do not counter trade, and I trade with the trend at all times. And I'm telling you, just by trading with the market and not against it, that's already going to put you guys in the top 5%. Like, trust me when I say this. If the market is bullish on the higher time frames, I'm only looking for buys only. And if the market is bearish on the higher time frames, I'm only looking for sales only. And that's why I only trade 3 to 4 times per week. Also, like I mentioned earlier in this video as well, no strategy is bulletproof, which means you're definitely going to take losses, right? But as long as you have a positive risk to reward ratio, you have nothing to worry about. Last week, which was the 3rd week of November, we managed to finish the week 150 pips profit. This week was very volatile, full of news, but we still managed to finish this week in positive, right? So let's say if you started with $1,000 in your trading account and you were risking 5% per trade, you would have made about $150 last week, which is about a 15% return. And let's say if you wanted to be more conservative and decided to risk 1% per trade, you would have made about $30, which is a 3% return, right? So now let's scroll up some more, right? Full transparency as always. The week before that, we actually finished that in negative, minus 65 pips. And one thing I want you guys to realize as well, right? When we finish the week in negative, it's going to be close to 3 times smaller compared to when we finish a week in positive. Right? That is very, very, very crucial, guys, right? The goal is to minimize your losses as much as possible and to maximize your wins as much as possible as well, right? So that week, right, let's say if you started with $1,000 in your trading account and you were risking about 5% per trade, you would have lost about $65 that week. And let's say if you wanted to be more conservative and was only risking 1% per trade, you would have lost about, if I do the math real quick, which is 0.20 times 65, you would have lost only $13, right? So now let's scroll up for the very first week of November. So the very first week of November, guys, we actually finished that week 365 pips in positive. Yet again, I want you guys to realize that, right? We keep our losses as small as possible and maximize our wins as much as possible as well, right? As you can see right here, we finished that week minus 65 pips, but the very first week of November, we actually caught 365 pips. Let me do the math for you guys real quick again. Let's say if you started with $1,000 in your trading account and you did choose to risk 5% per trade, you would have made about $365, right, which is a 36.5% return. But let's say if you wanted to be more conservative and you're risking about 1% per trade, you would have made about, let me do the math for you guys again, 0.20 multiplied by 365, you would have made $73, which is a 7% return. As you guys can see, this is how we did for the last 3 weeks of November, and we're looking forward to finish the last week of November in positive as well. Like I said, when it comes to trading, guys, you must have a proper risk management plan and you must have a proper SOP that you can rely on at all times. It's not just about having a proven working technical analysis strategy or like a proven working fundamental analysis strategy, right? You need a system that you can rely on. I cannot stress this enough, right? You need a system that you can rely on at all times. So now I'm going to go over the technical analysis strategy that I've been using for the past 6 years. And I'm telling you guys again, if you do take your time to go and backtest it for yourself, you're going to realize that the strategy does work, but you must be extremely, extremely, extremely patient to be able to use the strategy.